So the first thing we need is I'm going to make an 8 cord braid, and each of my lengths will be 3 times my finished length, about 2.5 to 3 times my finished length. So for the bracelet, I've actually cut each of these strands would be about 21 or more inches, but I've actually made them about 40 or so inches because I've bent them in half. And then I'm going to tie them together with just a piece of leftover cord, and I'm just going to tie a little knot in the middle, just like this, to hold them together. And I'll just do a little double knot. And this is just a little temporary thing. It'll be taken off later on. So there we go. There's a little knot there to hold it in place. And now I've got all my 8 cords, and they're all the same length, ready for my bracelet. So I'm going to pop them inside my Kumihimo disc, and you can weight them at the back or just hold them. And I'm going to lay them out in the pattern for a basic stripe. Now, it's actually surprisingly easy, and you can do this with beads as well. You have north, south, east and west, and the north and south will make one stripe and east and west will make another. So with that in mind, if I put a white one up on one side of north and then another one there, and then to get the stripe happening, I'll put the same color south. So this will make one stripe. So to get the other stripe, oops, then I'll be putting my other color on the other side. And it's as simple as that. And of course, if you were adding beads onto this, then you will get a nice stripe of beads. You'll have one color here and one color here of beads. So if you wanted to have, say for example, pearls this way and crystals this way, then that's how you would do that. So, and just to recap, I'm ready to start braiding now. I've got a nice tension here. The nice thing about this smaller disc is you can hold your hand comfortably and keep your tension. So we'll just begin. Start on the top here, on this side of the north, and come down to the south. And then you come from the bottom up to the top. Now you can do top to bottom, bottom to top, whatever you prefer. And then we're going to turn the disc. Now it doesn't matter whether you go one way or the other, clockwise or anti-clockwise. And if you like, you could always draw an arrow so you know which way to go. I like to go clockwise, and you go a quarter turn, so that now if this is north and south, this is your west and your east. So then it's the same movement from the top down to the bottom, and then from the bottom up to the top. And then again with a quarter turn, and we go from the top down to the bottom, and from the bottom up to the top. And again a quarter turn. And you see the cords are moving around the board a little bit. That's fine, doesn't matter. Quarter turn, top down, bottom up. So that's our basic round braid, and you just continue along in that way until you have your finished length. Now I've made a few passes, and you can see the lovely stripe pattern is starting to come out here, but what I want to do is put a little bit of weight on the back of this so that it holds it down in place. So what I've done just simply is I've put a few coins, a few pennies into a little bag with a safety pin, And then I'm just going to, and you could use a little, you know, bulldog clip, anything you've got really. It's, I mean, you can buy some purpose-made things, but I don't really think they're necessary unless you're keen. And then there we go. I'll just pin that on there. And that's plenty weight to hold it all down in place. Here's a little tip. If you need to go away or stop your work in the middle of your working, or you know, you get interrupted by a telephone call or whatever, here's how you finish off. Bring the top down to the bottom as always, and then leave the work like that with 3 at the bottom. And then you can, you know, go away from your work for however long, because when you come back, you know the next step will be from the bottom up to the top, because you've got 3 at the bottom. So I'll just bring that up to the top, and then I know, now it's time to turn. And so again, when I bring that down, see, look, I've got again 3 at the bottom. So I know I can stop, because the next step will be to go up to the top. So I'm just coming to my last few wraps at the end here, and if I turn it over, you can see that my braid is quite long and more than enough for a bracelet. So I'll just take it off the little disc, just unpin your pin. The nice thing about this cord is it is very smooth, and you can unravel it very easily and take it off, reuse this string, and it's still as good as new, which is great, because if you do make a mistake here, you can just unravel it and start again. So we've got that, and see, we've got our great finished end there, ready for gluing. And now with this end though, we'll have to do a knot. So you can just pull it all off in one go if you like, or usually what I tend to do is take off one and then another, and then just do a little knot just to hold things in place. And then you don't have to do this step, I tend to. And then another, and do a little knot, and then the other two can just come off and be knotted all together then. 2, 3, 4. Disc is ready for use another day, and all I need to do now is to take the ends, and I'll do an overhand knot. So I'll do that by just making a nice big loop, and then just poke all the ends through. There we go. And then just slide the knot up to the end. Now this knot will be cut off later, but still take your time and just get all the ends down so that the knot comes up nice and firm at the end there. There we go. So that's ready for me. Now I'll stitch here to make this a permanent. And you can get your bracelet, you can give it a little stretch. Just that stretching it out softens the threads a little bit, because it's a lovely soft, nice weave. Okay, so I'll get my needle and thread and show you how to finish this off. Right, now I have here a needle with some thread, and I'm just going to come through the end here and just, I'll leave a long tail, come back. I haven't put a knot in the end. I'll come back again and do like a little back stitch through here, and again. And then you could also just tie a little overhand knot through once, through twice. And then I'd like to wrap this cord around here a few times. Just hold that up here and bring this around a few times 1, 2, 3. You only really want to do a little bit because you don't want to, we don't want too big a space because the clasp is not very deep. And then I'll go through again and do a couple of backhands here. And then finally, I'll just do another knot. I mean, this will all be covered in glue anyway, but that'll just... And now I'm going to cut it across here. Just get these little threads out of the way. There we go. And now I'm ready to put my glue in. So now I've got my clasp. You can see it's hollow at both ends, ready for the cord. And the little twist lock, it's magnetic, so it's strong. There it is. Okay, that's ready. And this is 5mm across. And that fits quite nicely on here, just a nice snug fit. And once it's in, it covers all my cord as well, all the white sewing thread. I mean, you could use sewing thread same colour if you wanted to, but it's lost inside here. But before I glue it on, I'm going to just slide on a little charm with a little bail, and just wiggle it on my bracelet. Or you could, if this was a necklace, this could be a little, bail for a pendant even. And then I'm going to glue it on. So I've got my glue here, and which, there we go. This glue, it's F6000. The good thing about it is it dries completely clear, completely waterproof, but also flexible. It's different to the E6000, it dries a little bit quicker, but it does take about a day to cure. So what we do, this is the way I do it anyway, is I just get a nice big blob and put it down inside there. It's messy, but it doesn't make your fingers stick together, that's why I like this. But once it's in, it never comes out. And then I'll just pop that in. Now, as I said, it takes a little while to cure. Give it a clean. There we go. And then I'll do the other end as well. A little bit more glue. Now, if you don't have this glue, you can use super glue. But I like this because once it's set, it really doesn't come, it never comes undone. Nice big blob. Pop it in. And pop that in there. And I'll just leave that to set now. And there's my nice bracelet.